Valhalla is here.
That is a literal statement, because Valhalla is here, the heart and soul of the Viking Raiders, and now a children's book author. Sarah Rowe, welcome to the Wrestle Chat. Thanks for being on with us today. Good to see you.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you. A funny fact about that music, we didn't know my name was going to be Valhalla when we had the music.
No way, for real?
So we did those promos, like, Valhalla is coming, and then we were trying to go through legal to get a name for me, and we didn't shut down at every turn. We're trying a bunch of different names, and Hunter was like, screw it, try Valhalla. Like, oh, surely Valhalla's taken. Like, it's a very widely used, and it was open. So it, like, worked out perfectly.
Sometimes things just align, right?
Yeah, it really did. We were like, wow, it's amazing.
That's really cool. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. I'm excited about this right here. Let's see. Your book.
Oh, there she is.
From the farm to our table, April 2nd, the world gets to see a completely different side of you from the release of From the Farm to Our Table, your first ever children's book. Was this a bucket list item, adding a children's book author to your bio?
I do love to write. I've been writing for a while, and I just kind of write for myself.
Yeah.
But I was trying to find a book for my son that was about farming in the way that we farm. We have a very regenerative agriculture, sustainable, like, stewards of the land farm, and it was very, like, I had to write of the book. It didn't exist. The book I wanted did not exist. So I just wrote it myself, and Gnome Road Publishing took me under their wing and helped me get it presentable, and helped me find this illustrator. Her name is Amanda Morrow, and she did a beautiful job, like Leo and Finley and their parents with a little dog, and they even put the cows that I have in. Like, it really warms my heart to see that. It's like, I wrote this book like 2 years ago before I got re-signed. So it has been a journey in the making, that's for sure.
Well, so many people see the negatives when something like a release happens. But would this have happened if you were on the road all the time?
No, and I wouldn't have had my son. Like, it, when the COVID releases were happening and I got that call, like, obviously devastated. And,
sure,
Eric, my husband, was like, let's have a baby. I was like, sweet. It really helped me, like, shift my focus. And so, no, this wouldn't have happened. My son wouldn't have happened, at least, like, not in the time frame that it did. Like, I did want to have children, but, I was wrestling. So it, this book would not be here today if, the trials and tribulations that was COVID did not happen.
Is that really how simple the conversations go? Hey, let's have a baby. Okay, cool.
Well, maybe if we hadn't talked about it at all before,
sure.
But, like, Ray is very protective over me, and Eric. So we weren't having, he was the strong and steady of, like, us not having children quite yet because we were trying to make money wrestling, and so, like, when the wrestling got removed and I'm devastated, he's like, now's the time. And I was like, yes, now's the time. I want to have babies. I love babies. I can't wait to have more babies. But this book wouldn't have been written without that.
What's the back and forth like between you and the illustrator? Is she drawing and coloring and stuff and sitting into you and going, yep, that fits exactly what I was, or do you make tweaks, or do you just leave that all up to her?
I kind of gave, like, an overview of what I would like and kind of how, and she had the whole book, she had the whole story to kind of go off of, and she did a fantastic job kind of putting together what I was envisioning, and we, like, made a couple tweaks, but she was a very quick and fast, and she responded very well to the little tweaks I did want to make, and just knocked it out of the park. Like, I remember the books getting here, and Ray was like, it looks so professional, and I was like, what would you expect? But she, like, I wrote the book, obviously, but she brought it to life in a way that I could not have, so I'm super, super thankful.
That's awesome. Speaking of your bio, your Instagram mentions regenerative farmer, and you mentioned that, a butcher and a hunter. And that's not something you just type into a bio. This is your way of life. We see it all over your Instagram and your posts. But for those that don't know, can you explain what regenerative farmer means?
So regenerative farming is a farming practice that regenerates the soil that the animals are on. And so I have a roughly 10-acre plot that I rotationally graze my cows on. So every day they're on a new pasture. So what your goal is because if cows are on some grass and they eat it down way too low, the grass won't grow back as nice, and they end up squishing it down, and they'll end up rutting everything up. But if you just let them eat half of the grass, they're getting the most nutritional part of the grass. They're fertilizing and aerating the soil, but not too much. And so I have a 30-day rotation. So every day we move the cows onto different pastures, and the grass is so lush and beautiful. We have so many insects, and we have a great biodiversity in our farm. And the cows are I don't have to doctor any of my animals. They're all super healthy. The calves are all great. You can't forget, I raise my animals for beef. I raise them for food. So it takes us 3.5 years to get a cow or a bull or a steer up to butcher weight. So I'm out here every day with these animals, moving them and bonding with them and making sure they have the best they could ever want. And then one day I have to go outside and harvest the animals. So it's it's a lot different than hunting, for sure.
Yeah.
Harvesting an animal that you've raised to eat. And it's a process that I try not to be shy about, because I think it's important that we understand the weight and the sacrifice behind our food. And it's a thing that my friends and family, I'm hey, butchering day is such and such day.
Right.
Please come and at least witness what you're doing when you eat.
When you have that hamburger, you know where it came from.
Yeah, and it's a very I think the sadness that I have and everyone has when they come and see us harvest an animal is part of the kindness I'm giving them. The day I'm not sad that I'm taking an animal's life to feed my family is the day I need to sell the whole stinking farm. So it is this book was a attempt to be able to explain to children and give parents the outlet and the way to explain to their kids where their food comes from in a way that's not I'm trying to wrap my brain around probably doing a harvesting book to do it in a way that's not that's gentle, and that's because a lot of people eat meat. A lot of people eat meat, and we've never been so disconnected from that fact. So I would like to open the discussion to bring people back into, knowing where the food comes from, even if it doesn't have to be starting your own farm and being a psycho like I am. You could find a local farm, or, if you see some cows down the road, maybe knocking on the door and asking to meet them. Most farmers are please come meet my cows. I love my cows. So, it is, I'm trying to kind of educate with the book. And even on gnomeroadpublishing.com, there is an educator resource section where you can print out a sheet, and it kind of tells you ways to use the book to have these discussions with your kids. Use the book to maybe go and try to resource your own food and little activities you can do with your kids to make them more familiar with their food. I know a lot of parents struggle with, my kid only eats pizza, or my kid only eats this and this and this. But in my experience, if you have the kid more involved with what they're eating, they're going to be more inclined to eat it. If the kids go to a chicken coop and get the egg out, you're we can eat this. They're what? And then, so it's a lot, it's amazing to see how the brain waves going of a kid that's learning where their food comes from. And I'm hoping to help parents start those conversations with their kids with this book.
Listen, I'm trying to just make sure and get the weeds out of my front yard, and I'm still having a problem with that. We need to talk more specifically about this, because we don't go to the supermarket to buy our meat. We go to the butcher. And it's small town, it's grass fed, as much as right now we can know about it, that's where we go. So I'm super fascinated by by this conversation, and I love that you're starting with a children's book, because do you know how many parents are going to learn from this just for reading this? Yeah. And then obviously teaching kids too, and knowing that. I want to throw something else up here too, though. Let's see this right here. This is how most of us were introduced to you, the Riot Squad. You live in Ruby. This is how
first photo. Yeah.
Is that it right there? Were y'all all friends before this, or was this the reason you became friends?
Me and Ruby were.
Okay.
We worked the independent wrestling scene together for 5 years up until this point. We knew Liv from the performance center, but we weren't like we were nice and interactive, but we weren't what I would consider friends.
Right.
So this was a, the fact that I got called up with Dory, which was Ruby, whatever the hell her name is, was a godsend. She was, we were already such good friends, and Liv is so personable and outgoing, and she just made her way into the group like she'd always been there. We'd all been friends we were all friends for the past 5 years. So it was we had a nice family dynamic. I was the dad, Dory was and Liv was our child, and it was a sitcom in itself for sure.
That's hilarious.
Was there anything that kind of had you guys form together? Was this just something that creative had come up with, or was there something that naturally brought you guys all together to form the Riot Squad?
I honestly have no idea. I've heard rumors that Vince liked the Suicide Squad and wanted a Harley Quinn kind of girl, a strong girl, and a alternative girl. But I don't know how we were chosen. I don't know that you don't know. I don't know. I've thought about asking Road Dogg, but because I think he was in the room for when it happened, but it's never come up yet. I need to do that, but I don't know.
Let's take a look at this one too. This is your squad now, the Viking Raiders. You seem to be especially fond of, in this picture, the guy on the left. You're right in this picture. How did you and Eric get together?
Again, we met before WWE. I got booked at a Ring of Honor show, and I saw Eric wrestling, and I was like, oh wow, this guy is, I like this a lot. And I had never tried to put my game on someone before, and Ray is very he's that guy that people are like, is he mad?
Yep.
When he's just, that's just his face. So it took me a while to kind of break that mold open, but Ray is literally the light of my life. He's the reason that I feel, he's the reason that I'm able to be in such a feminine space now. I was a very, masculine chick, I take care of me and I don't need nobody. And Ray made me feel safe enough to start meeting others and letting myself be taken care of, and putting having a child is a very vulnerable thing to do. And I honestly didn't want children before I met Ray. And now I feel so safe and taken care of, and I'm in love with him so much. I just want to have all the children. So it definitely something that I, thank God every day for is that man. And he's downstairs right now. I can hear him actively wrestling Cash, so I can come up here and do this.
That's awesome. Well, he's
amazing father.
He's healing up right now, right? He did the C6 and 7.
He had a C6, C5, C6 neck fusion. He had a herniated disc, and so he had neck surgery, and he should, hopefully he's back sooner than later, and he's healing up great. He's the most dense human I've ever met. So just physically, not mentally, physically dense. But he's really been enjoying, because our son is 3, and Ray's really spent the last it'll be 6 months, just because I still have to go on the road. And usually me, Ray, and Cash, we all travel together. But with me, the only one traveling, Ray and Cash have just been home together. And it's just Ray is very... Cash kind of saved Ray mentally through all this. Like, if I was just leaving Ray, you know, and he had to stay home while I went and wrestled, like, that would be really hard. Like, Ray has been wrestling 20 years and has never been out with an injury, rather than when he had a motorcycle accident back in 2014. So he, you know, our little boy is just saving his brain and making him still feel like he has, obviously, like, a purpose, even though he's injured. And because, like, with neck injuries especially, like, he's felt fine for a while, but that neck the bone has to fully fuse to the metal, and that takes time.
Right.
And so,
without bumps.
And he's about to go fall down for a living, so we got to make sure he's okay. But he's been really doing great. I'm excited to have them back on the road with me, though. That's for sure.
Michael's got a litter of kids. I got a couple of girls, and they change your life.
A litter?
They do.
Kids are literally the best.
They are.
Yep.
I didn't know I could, because, like, even me and Ray, our love has conditions. Mm-hmm. I did not know what unconditional love was until I had that kid. Like, you don't. So such a little blessing to have them.
Sarah, speaking of kids, we gotta look at this real quick. This is Michael Cole. He seems to have a particular fascination with your antlers. First, did you harvest these antlers yourself?
All that stuff has been sourced by me. Yes.
No way. Has WWE merch, have they considered including these at the merch table?
They should.
They should.
Enough. But yeah, we definitely need a conversation. He has
come on, guys.
By his glasses and a donkey tooth.
Yes.
Why does that seem appropriate? I don't know why this seems really appropriate.
A donkey tooth that's hit me in the face. I mean, I'll, like, turn my head and it's like, whoosh. But yeah, Michael Cole did not know I was doing this to him, which was the best part. Only me, Ivar, and a camera guy knew that I was doing this.
Yeah.
So this was his unadulterated reaction to what was happening.
The moment that this happened, I'm not going to lie, I started envisioning what Michael Cole would look like as a part of the Viking Raiders with his signature WrestleMania singlet decked out with, you know, Viking insignia and things like that. So I think there's an opportunity there that has not been explored yet. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, we definitely need a match with all of us at Mania. That would be the most entertaining. Maybe Pat McAfee and Ivar and me and Michael Cole can manage or something.
You know, Cole's undefeated at WrestleMania.
No, I'm not.
Sorry to bring that up, man. We step on something.
Nowhere winning nothing. I just need that to be known.
You what?
I have not gotten anywhere winning anything. Oh. I'm still here. It's amazing.
It's so good to have you back too. When I was a giant fan of the Riot Squad. I'm a bigger fan of the Viking Raiders, and I'm ready to see some slaughtering. When Eric comes back, I'm ready to see some slaughtering.
And he's gonna come back with, like, a freaking chip on his shoulder. Like, he's in the best shape he's ever been, and he's just been... The man's been literally thinking about his return for 6 months. So it's I'm excited I get to be ringside for it. It's gonna be awesome. Ray is an intense individual. Eric is an intense individual. So I'm like, honestly, I don't even know what the man's thinking. I just blindly support him with what he's doing. So I don't know who he's going to target or who he's going to smash when he get back, but I'll be there like, yeah, I'm sure.
Me too. If you're like, something's coming through a camera, that's just me screaming at home. Super excited. You know, something else I'm excited for is April 2nd. That's when your book comes out. Let me get this so people can see that a little bit better. But there you go. Oh, no, that's just me. That's not what we want. We definitely don't want that. Michael, what am I hitting there? Is it that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Come on. What is wrong with me? Okay. It's that one right there. There it is. From the farm to our table. And for those people that are listening, I go, what is he trying to do? On the video side, we're trying to throw up the actual cover of the book. So if you're not watching, you should on our YouTube. From the farm to our table. April 2nd. Brand new children's book comes out from Sarah Rowe. Sarah, it's been awesome talking to you today, from everything from sustainable farming to children's books to slaughtering the opponents in WWE on SmackDown. I'm looking forward to having Eric back and seeing what you guys do.
Yeah, thank you. I had a lot of fun.
Don't be
Yes, I appreciate you.
Good to talk to you.